Apologies in advance for the fact that the dishwasher is on. I want to talk about something kind of novel. You guys know that I love tea. You guys know that I fuck with tea heavy, and I'm not apologetic about it. In fact, I refuse to apologize for the fact that I fuck with tea heavy. Cry about it. I'm not gonna issue any kind of statement to the effect of, oh, I know that my statements offend some people and that the people these days have a lot of feelings about a lot of things. No, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. If you have problems with tea, you literally need to get a lobotomy. And maybe that would fix the problems that you have in your brain that make you have a problem with tea. Anyway, a lot of people have asked me, fellow tea enjoyers in the audience have asked me, why I like quote unquote iced tea. Now, the truth of the matter is, I don't actually like iced tea. People who have lived with me or who have spent a considerable amount of time with me know and catch on to the fact very quickly that I do not drink cold drinks. I just don't drink them. Sometimes I'll drink them begrudgingly, but never willingly. If it's a choice I can make, I'm gonna have that shit room temperature, even if it means, like, having it in the fridge for a while, taking it out, and then just leaving it there until it's warm. I'll fucking do that if that's necessary for me on that day. So, I like warm drinks. I don't like cold drinks, but I also don't really like hot drinks that much. Like, if it's hot coffee, I'll drink the hot coffee, and it tastes pretty good, like, it's alright. Sometimes I'll have hot tea, but generally speaking, I'm not gonna drink tea hot or cold. I'm gonna drink it warm. And so why is it that I have all these videos like reviewing different types of iced tea or discussing them? Well, it's because I take the iced tea that's in a container or a can of some kind and I leave it out. I don't put it in the fridge and then I drink it. So for those of you who've been wondering where my whole iced tea thing comes from, it's from the fact that I don't drink it iced. I definitely don't drink it cold. I think I had meant to say I don't drink it cold and I definitely don't drink it iced. But you understand what I mean here, okay? I do not do that. I don't fuck with it. So there you go. Honestly, if there's a treat that you want in the future, these honey buns are better than the name brand ones. They literally taste better. So I make a lot of videos about being a NEET, and oftentimes I get this question, OsakaSyndrome, what do you do all day? And you know, it's not a very easy question to answer because, you know, I do a lot of things all day. There's a lot of things that I like to do, and I can't easily answer that. A lot of people have asked me how I'm doing these days, given the fact that I don't really update this channel anywhere near as much as I used to. Like, at the peak of this channel, I was uploading multiple videos a day, and there have been multiple periods where I've had a video out every day, or I've live streamed almost every day, and generally speaking, I don't do that on this channel anymore. And it's not even because I haven't had as much to say or because I've had less interest in making videos. It's simply been because I have been doing other things. And more than that, I have been enjoying living my life. Not to say that during some very active periods on this channel I wasn't enjoying living my life. I think 2019, certain parts of it at least, and 2020 are good examples of times when I was doing relatively well for my standards, but that pales in comparison to how much better I'm doing these days. And a lot of that I attribute to the fact that I have my wife, but I attribute it to other things as well. A healthier diet, a better routine, a routine, like just a routine in the first place, as well as the outside time that I get, the walks, the fresh air. And that one part of this, no, not the outside part, you've heard me talk about that enough, the routine part is kind of what I want to focus on here, because I think us Aspies, us autists, generally tend to prefer a regimented, if not rigid, lifestyle. We prefer schedules. We prefer to eat at the same times every day, listen to sometimes the same song on repeat, or play the same level of the same video game again and again and again, finding new secrets and new things in it. I know that these are stereotypes, but they're things that we like to do. And for example, studying Spanish every day of every morning has helped me a lot. I won't demonstrate my abilities here in this video, but you may see one very soon of me doing exactly that. My pronunciation isn't there, but my vocabulary, I think, is getting there. And that's one area that has been fantastic for me, doing the language study at the early parts of the morning, starting with my Anki deck, and then moving to my paper flashcards, and then doing translation and grammar drills. This specific system for organizing my study, alongside 15-minute breaks with some listening to content in Spanish, music, videos, things like that, has helped me a lot. It's helped me feel like I'm doing something. And this is the interesting thing, is that was actually the exact same feeling that I got from playing Counter-Strike, when I was playing Counter-Strike more than I am currently. Counter-Strike, and I think a lot of games like it, provide this sense that you are progressing in something. Not just that you're doing something, but that you are progressing in something. And online games kind of have that allure to them. Skill-based, competitive online games make you feel like you have a job, kind of, right? Like, you practice movement, you practice aim, you practice the specific mechanics of whatever game that you're into. You try to stat boost if you're into RPGs. I don't know what the fuck they do in those. And it creates this sense of progress that a lot of people become hopelessly addicted to, because it's an easy way to get those feelings of satisfaction, or dare I say dopamine, as much as that word is thrown out by everyone all the time now. Whatever you want to call it, it's a thing stimulating your pleasure centers. And I think if you only do that, like No Thank You has this article, Give Up on Life, which is a great article. I don't fully agree with the message behind it. I also think he's been misinterpreted by certain people as to like what it's trying to say. But I know for me personally, the approach that he described in that article of like, why would you want to get to Master Guardian when it's just more Counter-Strike? There's no reason to. You can stay in Silver 1 forever. Just give up. I disagree with that notion, right? I want to feel like I'm progressing in something, even if that progression is fake, right? I don't even think he was trying to argue that the progression is fake necessarily. I think he was more so trying to argue that it was meaningless. But even if it is meaningless, like, I don't care. If it's objectively meaningless, I don't care, because I feel like there is some meaning in it, which is enough for me. Even if like feeling like there's meaning in it is just, oh, it makes me feel good to get better at a thing, I don't even know if you could call that meaning. Whatever that is, jouissance perhaps, I'm gonna do that, right? I'm going to try and angle myself towards that. And I think there's a lot of people out there who want to be unemployed, and I'm not referring to him specifically with this, because like he has skills that he works on, but there's a lot of people out there who want to be unemployed simply to do nothing all day. Like, they have literally no desire to do anything. And I think the reason why I liked video games at certain points so much, I still love them, I just don't play them as much right now, is because they provided that sense of progression. But at the same time that I was playing the video games, I was also working on other things. practicing my writing, practicing guitar, or another creative skill, or a skill of some kind, like cooking, for example. These are all things that are going to provide a sense of progression of some kind, right? And I think that is what we as humans crave. Like, we want to feel like the next page that we turned is leading to something, that we're doing something that is continuously expanding, right? Like, we have a meter that measures value, and we see that meter ticking upward and upward as we continue to behave in an appropriate way, in a way that facilitates that transition. I think all of that plays a role in how we think about this stuff, right? And I think specifically for Aspies like myself, if you have a schedule, like you wake up, you eat, you have your coffee and tea, whatever, and then you focus on really just honing yourself in on the studies, and seeing yourself improve at what you're studying at. You don't need to think about it further than that. Like, you just need to do it. And then there's going to be a feeling of satisfaction that you derive from that. I think there is a danger in trying to question, like, the meaning behind it all. That isn't to say that we shouldn't be introspective. I simply think that we should only be introspective insofar as it's useful to us. I think there is a degree to which introspecting can be a bad thing. Like, at a certain point, it just hinders your ability to exist and feel good about life. Like, I wake up in the morning and I just feel good about life. I just feel good about my situation, where I'm at in the world. I'm going to put these back on because I don't like it being blurry. Where I'm at in the world, the way my life is going, and when I go to sleep at night, I go to sleep feeling like tomorrow is going to be better than today. It's continuously that feeling that things are improving, things are going up. Or, if I don't feel like that, I'll just feel like things are good the way that they are. And I think this is difficult for a lot of people to imagine because they're analytical, right? A lot of us on the autism spectrum especially are analytical. And so there is a kind of instinct. There's an instinct there to look at the deeper meanings behind everything and to try and, like, go through everything with a fine-tooth comb when you don't necessarily have to. Like, some things can just be what they are. And oddly enough, it took a lot of introspection for me to realize that, because I did used to overthink things, right? And I think that's been documented on this channel. But if you just allow yourself to experience these positive things and to try a lot of different things, and until you find the schedule, the habits that work for you, that you really vibe with, then I think it can just go up from there. You know, a lot of my distaste from the world came from reactions that I had to socializing with other people. And you can choose to not socialize with other people, which is what I've chose to do at various points, or you can choose to be better at being yourself in the presence of other people, while at the same time focusing on all of these other things that are going to help improve your self-esteem, such as being consistent on hygiene, diet, exercise, teaching yourself a skill, doing things that you like to do that you can progress in but are crucially fun for you, things that are fun for you. That's why I've been focusing on Spanish and not some other language, because I find Spanish fun to learn, whereas other languages, not so much. There isn't as much content in those other languages that I want to consume, and I also don't find the grammar as intriguing and fun to play around with. I don't find the cultures necessarily as interesting. And so there was a reason why I chose that. But, like, if I just didn't enjoy learning a language, then I just wouldn't do it, right? Like, I'd do something else. I'd find something else that I can get better at, that overall I enjoyed the experience of doing. And there was a time when there were definitely barriers to me liking this specific activity. There was a time when I had a fear of failure, and I would criticize myself with every single mistake that I'd make. There was a time when I was a lot more impatient, and I would give up right away because I didn't see the progress that I wanted to make. But when you focus on these small victories as well as on just enjoying the moment, like enjoying what you're doing at that time, you're not going to be weighed down by all of these thoughts and assumptions, wondering what does this all mean? What's the meaning behind all this? Like, you're just going to do it, right? You're just going to do the thing that you want to do at that time, or that you think is best for you to do at that time, even if it has like some iffy parts, iffy moments, you know. Getting better at anything requires that, right? It requires those iffy moments where you're not totally in it, but you have to kind of apply yourself. And then when you apply yourself, you're like, oh my God, I was actually able to do that. I was able to say that, write that, read that, and so on. It's a brilliant feeling. It's just absolutely astounding. But you can only get there through kind of, you know, being patient with yourself and letting yourself go through the motions. But then when you do that, it's like, holy fuck, I actually did that. You know, it's, even if you weren't able to do it, you get that feeling of intrigue from like looking at how it all works and actually, you know, doing the process of getting the words together, right? It's brilliant stuff. It's just absolutely beautiful when you get right down to it. But I think, man, I've been rambling all over the place with this video. I think I was trying to say that having a schedule is really good. Also, that Spanish is really good. You know, check it out. Peep that language if you get the chance. I know a lot of people will be frustrated with the grammar. Personally, I love it. But who knows? Let's see, there was one other thing I wanted to say in this video. Now I'm like trying to like fucking dig through my head to find it. Now I'm just hanging out with you, looking at this fucking airplane spin up here, this airplane of a fan. It's so loud. It's so loud all the time. But I like it cold in here. I put, what is that in Celsius? See, I always try to do the conversions for my viewers that are in other countries, but it's 68 Fahrenheit. I always put the house on 68 Fahrenheit, and then I have the fans going because I want to be cold. I don't want to be, you know, warm. I literally can't get to sleep unless there are fans on and the temperature is on cold. Like, if I'm warm, I'll have to take all my clothes off. I usually sleep with my clothes off anyway, but if I'm warm, I'll have to take them all off. No blankets on whatsoever. I'll just have to lay there in the bed like that. If it's warm. Like, if it's hot especially, I'll have a lot of trouble sleeping, but if it's warm, I'll have trouble sleeping. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I work like this. I also don't remember what I was going to say. I think the point, you know, the big point here, the big idea that I'm trying to lay down is this. Don't overthink things and do things that feel good to do, right? Even if they don't feel good to do, try to configure your mindset in a way that makes them feel good to do. Look at the impediments that exist inside your mind and try to address them. Like, for example, when I was younger with learning a language, the impediments that continuously got in my way were my fear of failure, as well as my impatience with myself and with the world. I wasn't you know, taking it day by day and just enjoying it. And that's like a thing that a lot of people are told to do as advice, but they don't really figure out how to do it until their experience like leads them there. Like, the thing about changing your mind about this stuff in this way is it seems like it just sort of happens one day. Like, there was a time when I was depressed either every day or almost every day, and then one day, like, everything changed. There was a slow process on the way, of me introspecting and going out and getting new experiences and meeting new people and making a hell of a lot of mistakes. Um, but then one day it was like everything just kind of clicked for me, like things just changed. And it seems like things have only gone more in that direction over time. Um, so, yeah, I don't know. Get up, be active, don't lie down. Uh, get your brain working too. It's not just about, you know, doing your cardio and getting your legs, your calves going. It's about getting your brain exercised. And the other part of this too is stay away from the shit that's gonna reduce your inhibitions. You know, reduce your mental function. Um, I mean, I've drank like twice this year. I'm gonna end up drinking a third time because I promised Arm Melon, frequent commenter on the videos, that I would buy a cheap beer with like this $5 that he gave me on Ko-Fi. I am still gonna make that video, by the way. Um, Actually, I'll probably go to the store tonight to go get it. Hell, why the fuck not? Might even be in this video. I promised him that I would do that, and that I would make the video about the beer and do the taste test. So that will end up being my third time drinking this year overall. But we're like over 6 months into the year, and those are the numbers that I'm at. When previously last year, and I had quit last year in, was it October? I think it was October. Was it October or was it? I honestly can't even remember. Either way, it was like October, September, around there. I have the date written down somewhere, and then I didn't for the longest time after that, and then I got those 2 times this year, but that's one thing that, out of many things, that you're going to want to stay away from if your goal is to exercise your mind rather than drench it in fats and make it a really unhealthy place to be. And you don't want to do that. You want to be kind to your mind because you have to live there. Like, would you really want to spend all day in a place like that? Probably not.